Member for Goldstein.
Thank you, Speaker. As a proud Victorian Speaker, my question is to the Prime Minister. Will the Prime Minister outline to the House how the Morrison Government has provided crucial support to states and territories to lead Australia's response to the COVID-19 pandemic and recession?
The Prime Minister has the call.
Mr Speaker, a very timely question from the member with the theme that we're able to speak to today, and there is no greater friend of self-funded retirees in this country than the member for Goldstein, Mr Speaker. A champion they have in him, there's no doubt about that, Mr Speaker. A champion they have in him, protecting thousands, hundreds of thousands of self-funded retirees and standing up for them as we went into the last election, Mr Speaker, to save them from the retirees' tax that remains on the books of the Leader of the Opposition, Mr Speaker, as a constant insult to self-funded retirees in this country. Mr Speaker, it was in September. It was in September that the National Cabinet agreed, bar Western Australia, to ensure that we got Australia open by Christmas. And as we remarked earlier in the motion moved by the Leader of the Opposition, yesterday we made a very important step, took a very important step with the lifting of those lockdown restrictions commencing in Victoria from later tonight. And, Mr Speaker, that is the first necessary step, but there are many more steps to take between now and the end of the year to realise that commitment. And throughout this crisis, Mr Speaker, we have worked to support the states and territories as they've taken the decisions that they have had to take, and it was in their jurisdiction and within their responsibility to make. And we respect those responsibilities that they have to their own electors, Mr Speaker, in each of those states and territories. And we have sought to work with them, whatever decisions that they have taken in their view and their state's interests. And we have supported those states and territories with unprecedented support in the fiscal budget of this country. Mr Speaker, some $272 billion in direct measures alone, some 13.7% of the size of our economy, this government has invested, including health measures, Mr Speaker, of some $16.5 billion alone to deal with health needs within our states and territories has been invested by this government, 13.7%. Combined, all of the other states and territories together, every single one of them, in direct measures, including their health expenditure, have committed $47 billion. Now, Mr Speaker, that is a significant multiple of the investment by the Commonwealth Government over the states and territories, and that has been our responsibility to do that, to step in with some $257 billion in direct income and economic supports into our economy, carrying state economies, as whether if they've gone through the heavy lockdown that Victoria has experienced, or the measures particularly earlier on in the pandemic, and they were affected in those other states. And as other states have been able to emerge and move forward, Mr Speaker, they have graduated from much of that support. But, Mr Speaker, those who haven't been able to do that until now have continued to get significant support, some 2,200 ADF personnel.
Prime Minister's time has concluded.